Welcome to the 97th episode of the Pro Wrestling Experience. I'm Josh Lopez. I hope you guys been having a great weekend. It's been a great week for wrestling. As 2015 is finally here. Happy New Year's, everybody. We're going to be here for an hour. We're going to have a lot of fun. We got comment section down below if you guys have any comments or any wrestling news related topics you want to talk about. I'll take your comments into consideration. Be respectful. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, whether you agree with it or not. I'm Josh Lopez. If you guys never know who I am, I'm a contributor, writer slash show reporter for BetweenTheRoads.com. I'm not a spoiler type of guy. I just basically write down what goes down with the moves, the wrist locks, the promos, and formatting the show. I think something cool what I do with the Between the Ropes gig is that I give talking points for people that host shows like this because I format in a certain way. So if you guys ever miss an episode of Raw or SmackDown or Impact or whenever New Japan's on Access TV, I'll have those TV reports out for you and you guys can enjoy it. On today's show, we're going to have a lot of fun, like I said. We're going to be talking about WrestleKingdom 9 that I covered live last night for Between the Ropes. Phenomenal show from top to bottom. We'll get to that in a minute. Firstly, before anything, we got to get into some plugs. Our first live show of the year will be back on radio this Wednesday on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. That is the home of the Pro Wrestling Experience. We're live every Wednesday, 10 a.m. through 1 p.m. Central Time. We love talking pro wrestling. We cover it the right way. I know everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I try to help build professional wrestling as much as I can. And I want to help the wrestling fan base out there. If you have a wrestling show that needs publicity, I got the platform to do it. You need a commercial script. You need any advertisement. If you're a T-shirt store, a wrestling magazine, a wrestling website, a wrestling independent company, I'd like to support you and your brand. Just give me an email at joshlopezwwe94@gmail.com. It's that simple. I love talking wrestling. Who doesn't love talking wrestling, right? I mean, sure, it does have its ups and downs here and there, but we'll be talking about Raw. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble, which is coming up soon on the WWE Network for $9.99. We're going to be talking about the dynamic between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. There's a lot of people split in between as to who should win the Rumble. What's my thoughts on that subject? And I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about the Royal Rumble because last year's Royal Rumble pissed me off, but not for the reasons you think. It's actually vice versa. So I wanted to start off with Raw since the hot topic, and we'll get to WrestleKingdom 9 in a couple minutes. But I just want to give some brief and in-depth thoughts into Monday Night Raw this past Monday night from Washington, D.C. E&C Edge and Christian was on the show hosting. I thought they did a phenomenal job. Edge and Christian is really great with that 90s sophomore humor and comedy. I thought they did a great job as hosts for the show. I thought the show overall was really good. And I think they hit the right direction as 2014 came to an end because when you look at the WWE this year, it all comes down to one word: progression, transition, moving forward to the future. As in any transitional period, it's going to have its ups and downs. Obviously, the fall wasn't the greatest time for WWE product. There's no reason to be a complacent company, but things do happen when you have a 52-week television show to write each week. I mean, I don't even know if The Walking Dead can do a 52-week show a week and be as good as they are every week, or Breaking Bad, or what's that other show? Game of Thrones, the one on HBO. But overall, I thought Raw was good. Like I said, starting off the show hot with Edge and Christian. We had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. I thought it was weird where Paul Heyman was like, "Oh, Christian's retired." I, for one, have been a big Christian supporter for many, many years. When he first started doing the heel turn and started feuding with John Cena, where he's calling Marky Mark, I thought that was fantastic. I thought those two should have feuded. I thought those two should have feuded when Christian came back in 2009. If this is the retirement for Christian, man, what a shame. What a real shame because Christian's a very well a well performer and very underappreciated for the wrestling fan base, in my point of view, and also in the wrestling business as a whole. But anyway, Brock Lesnar came out, interrupted. Of course, we got to hear John Cena's music come out. Strolls down to the ring. He says he has a New Year's gift for Paul Heyman. He tries to go after him. Brock Lesnar tries to attack him. John Cena picks him up for the AA. Brock dips and does the heel move and runs out of the ring. So I thought it's a nice way to start off Raw. I mean, listen to John Cena's music. I mean, it's good to turn down the segment no matter what it is. I mean, I have respect for John Cena, but I'm not his biggest supporter. I'm not really even a fan of his, to be honest with you. But I don't let it dictate how I view the show, like a lot of wrestling fans. But I thought it was a good way to get some heel heat on Brock Lesnar to run away and tease more tension. But we'll get more into my thoughts on Brock Lesnar, because I thought last Monday there was no reason why he should have been there. I mean, it wasn't like he did anything special, right? So next we had the match between Dolph Ziggler and Rusev. I thought that was a good match. Rusev continues to look strong as the United States champion in that championship match. Ryback came out after Rusev wouldn't take off the accolade hold from Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback went into an in-depth promo. And I really enjoyed this promo. I get it. He's a big guy. He's a monster. Why are you having him be all so sentimental and emotional? And I get it. Oh, we heard these comments on the Talk is Jericho podcast already. I'm just glad that the WWE wanted to do this with another guy in the mid-card, because when's the last time we actually had any character built for any of the characters besides Seth Rollins and John Cena this year? I loved it. I thought it really helped Ryback get connected with the fans as a babyface. I thought it was a great opportunity for the fans to know who he is, why he's here, and I thought it was also good for the feud with Rusev and Ryback. He says it's not a USA versus Russia thing. It's a big guy kicking another big guy's ass thing. So I thought that was great. Some other high notes for the show. My boy, Bad News Barrett, came back. I thought that was great. I always loved the guy. I'm afraid I got some bad news. Obviously, with any Raw show, you're going to have terrible announcing from the Fox News radio announce team, JBL, Michael Cole, and Jerry Lawler. I fancy myself a big fan of real good wrestling commentary, and I heard that last night. It was a breath of fresh air, because these three buffoons are absolutely horrible. I have respect for all three of them for the time they put into the business. I have respect for JBL and Jerry Lawler for what they've done in the ring, and even for King for the commentary he did with JR during the Attitude Era. But I don't know, what are they doing? It's like trying to do stand-up comedy for 3 hours, and it just doesn't work whatsoever. It's not funny. They don't cover the storylines. They don't talk about the matches. You have a guy like Cesaro. Okay, I get it. He messed up his line. 4 ropes. Big freaking deal. Okay, he said 4 ropes. Wow, that's a big freaking deal. But they don't even care about any of the storylines. I mean, okay, I get it. They promote the network. They promote the pay-per-views. They promote main event. They promote SmackDown. It's all cool. I get it. I'm part of the radio media business. You have to promote stuff. But we watch wrestling to find out what's the story and why we should care about the stuff that's going on in the ring. And that's what's most important. And these three buffoons don't do it whatsoever. Never. They never do it. I thought it was a weird way to plug Total Divas that Nikki Bella defeated Natalya in 2 minutes or so, something like that, because Nikki fell to Tyson Kidd's arm and they look like they're wanting to make out. I don't know what was up with that segment. I thought that was weird. Another highlight for Raw for me was Big Show on commentary. I thought Big Show was great. He's like, okay, Roman Reigns the biggest thing, the next big thing. And he's like, what has he proven? And he was destroying Michael Cole on the commentary this past Monday, and I thought that was hilarious. We had the match with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. I thought it was kind of early for them to go that far into a match on free television, but it was a good match nonetheless. I thought Seth Rollins, of course, had a great performance. Roman Reigns just continuing to approve. I'm a Roman Reigns fan. I don't think he deserves to go in the main event of WrestleMania. I'll get to that later on. But honestly, who really does these days? We'll get to that later on in the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the show so far. If you guys do like what you're hearing, please feel free to hit the like button on the YouTube page and make sure to subscribe. Just in case we're never on air for the radio week, we will do a live pro wrestling experience here on YouTube. Hopefully do some more YouTube shows where I look back at some shows on the WWE Network. So keep tuned to the pro wrestling experience. We like covering pro wrestling. We like to hear the fans' voice. If you guys ever want to be on the pro wrestling experience, I'm open to having you on the show. It's pretty simple. I have the information on Twitter. Call in whenever you want. I won't cut you off. It's not gonna be like I'm the radio guy and I'm gonna cut you off for 30 seconds after your question and this whatever. I like to have a conversation with you. So hope you guys have been enjoying the show so far. Moving back to Raw. Like I said, I thought it was a good show for talk about. I think everybody has something to do for the right purposes and moving forward to the right direction with their characters heading towards 2015. Happy that my boys, the Usos, won the WWE Tag Team Championships this past Monday night. Phenomenal match between them and Miz and Mizdow. The Ascension, they made their debut on Monday Night Raw this past Monday night. And, oh boy. I'm a fan of the Ascension and their work in NXT, but man, once you're not over with the internet wrestling community, which I'm not a part of and I'll never will be, you're not gonna have a long shot of being successful in the WWE in their eyes. So especially with social media, it also translates towards the casual audience. They see on Twitter, oh, the Ascension sucks. Oh, they're the LD ripoff. It's really unfortunate, especially for a guy like Connor, who's been in the NXT or FCW developmental system for many years now. It's, I think, almost 10 this year, if I'm not mistaken. And now he gets his opportunity, and all everybody can talk about is him and his partner, Victor, being a Legion of Doom ripoff. I think that's kind of unfair. I think give young guys a chance. I mean, they're trying something. Who knows? I didn't know the Warriors practice in Illuminati. I didn't know that. So let's see what the Ascension really is during these next couple months, and then we can use our judgment after that. I just hate saying that a gimmick is not going to work after the first week it airs, especially with the New Day. I mean, I saw a New Day in the house show a couple of weeks ago here in Chicago. It was fantastic. Those guys are good. You know, you got to give people a chance. I mean, we want more tag teams, and then when tag teams appear, we whine and bitch about them because they're not into the standard we want them to be. Who knows? Maybe you'll like the Ascension in a couple of months. Nobody's perfect. I mean, look at The Rock. The Rock came in as Rocky Maivia, and everybody said, die, Rocky, die. And now he's like one of the biggest actors in Hollywood these days. Yeah, you got to give people a chance. You never know who's going to become that next big star. And then closing off for all is the phenomenal Cutting Edge Peak Show segment with Seth Rollins. I thought Seth Rollins really took a right step in the right direction in 2015 coming near. And it was awesome for him to have that moment there. I'm surprised Edge allowed them to put Seth Rollins' foot on his neck during that segment between him and John Cena. Kind of surprised that the Authority's back. I don't think it's too early, nor I think it's too late. I mean, there were so many variables you could have done with this, but at the end of the day, we all knew the Authority was going to come back one way or another. Who really knows if Triple H is going to fight at WrestleMania this year? I mean, who would you guys like to see Triple H fight at WrestleMania? I mean, I'm a fan of the Authority. I'm not going to lie. I love Stephanie McMahon. I think she's the hottest woman ever in wrestling besides Paige. But I think she's a talented performer. And she was one of the best heels last year on the mic. And I like the Authority. I think it's cool. I get a good laughter out of this based off the silliness and the it's like good old-fashioned heel stuff they do all the time. I get it. We're going to have another long Triple H promo starting off the show this Monday. Good old authority fashion. We'll probably see a tag team match in the main event of Raw tomorrow night. But I'm happy that the authority is back. We'll see what happens. They needed something to have a cliffhanger heading towards 2015. I don't know if a cliffhanger is Randy Orton's return because all this is return of him trying to run after Seth Rollins and attacking him. I think it would have been better to have Orton come back tomorrow night and instead of it being wasted on the last show of the year. Start off 2015 with a bang. We have the ambulance match with Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt, which is going to be awesome. Have Randy Orton come out. Who knows? Maybe it'll be John Cena and Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins and Big Show tomorrow night. Don't be surprised if you see that. I like to get a follow on Twitter in case that does happen. So overall, I gave Raw an A. I thought the show was phenomenal from top to bottom, moving all the guys in the mid card in the right direction. And please remember, they even had a live event show on the same night, which Roman Reigns participated in while Raw was going on. So I thought the creative team and I thought the WWE took right step in the right direction heading towards 2015. It's a new year, new leash on life. I think we're heading towards a more wrestling period for the WWE. If you don't notice that they're trying to push younger stars, I don't know what to tell you. Seriously, I don't know what to tell you. I get it. Some part-timers come here and here during SummerSlam or WrestleMania. But you can't tell me they're not trying to build stars. Stars are not built over a pay-per-view period. Bret Hart wasn't a made guy until 5, 6, 7 years later while he was in the tag team with the Jim Neidhart, the Hart Foundation. These guys go from peaks and valleys in their careers. You know, not all guys could be instantaneous stars like Stone Cold or The Rock in 3 or 4 years. It takes time, folks. Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins and Cesaro and all those guys will be up there. It takes time. Patience. I know this society is instant gratification, but you can't say you can't build stars when they're actually trying to build them. Come on, people. You gotta use some logic there. Anyway, we'll move on to WrestleKingdom 9. If you guys did see the show, I feel bad for you for the live version. There is a replay version that will be airing tonight at 7 Eastern. If you guys like to check that out. WrestleKingdom 9, the New Japan Global Force Wrestling show. Really, really good show. I thought JR and Matt Striker killed it on the commentary this past night. So many great matches to look at here. If you guys didn't see my live coverage of the show, you can go to betweentheworlds.com if you saw it. I'm not a spoiler guy. I didn't want to put spoilers on the title. I didn't. I just said New Japan / Gold Force Wrestling's WrestleKingdom 9 results. See, that's simple. It's not a spoiler if you actually watched it live. So that's how I look at it. Now, I do hate spoilers when it happens for SmackDown or TNA or Lucha Underground. I hate that. I'd rather watch a show live as it happens for what it is. Anyway, after we talk about New Japan, we'll talk about SmackDown because there's something about SmackDown I wanted to get off my chest. Obviously, I think it was a really cool moment to see AJ Styles actually have his first match called by Jim Ross. That's freaking awesome. AJ Styles was the man last night at Global Force Wrestling's WrestleKingdom 9. It was a really good card for top to bottom. I mean, starting off the show with the Time Splitters and Red Dragon, Forever Hooligans, and the Time Splitters. It was a great match. I thought it was the perfect way to start off the show, to be honest with you. Obviously, JR was kind of struggling because those scenes do go in a really, really fast pace. And that's what happens when you have a Young Bucks match. But I thought Matt Striker was on his game last night. He was phenomenal. I learned so much from Matt Striker just listening to any shows. I mean, I get him for 1 hour for Lucha Underground. I learned so much about the Lucha Libre style of wrestling. And the next moment you see him calling a 4 hour pay-per-view. And man, just like a guy from me that wants to be in wrestling for being a wrestling commentator, it's awesome to get those no sounds and always the little things that JR brings up during his past in the WCW or Mid South or the WWE. Um, I kind of felt some bitterness from JR towards the WWE last night. I don't think he gains anything out of it. I mean, it's already been done and over with. I mean, how many times people have bashed WWE after they got fired or released or whatever? Hey, things happen for a reason. We all go in certain different career paths. I think he was a little bit too bitter last night, and he tried to do little cheap shots at them, and he doesn't gain anything out of it. Wow. Okay. Oh, JR called out the WWE because they don't do a certain thing that he likes. There's so many people that the WWE has to try to appease to, and at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. So I don't know what JR is trying to gain out of that. But anyway, Red Dragon retained the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championships. We had the match with the Bullet Club of Jeff Jarrett, Bad Luck Valley. They took on Hiroshi Tenzan, Satoshi Kojima, and Tomaki Hana. That team won the match. I thought it was good. It was kind of short, but Jarrett tried to get the referee distracted with a guitar. I thought that was kind of cool seeing him with the guitar. It was nice seeing Jarrett on the show last night, man. Man, Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett were lucky guys, man. That chick is really hot, man. Before we move on, I want to take time to send out my condolences to my favorite SportsCenter anchor of all time, Stuart Scott, from ESPN and SportsCenter. I was covering the show last night. I didn't get to go to bed till like 5:30 in the morning last night, and woke up, found out the news about his death, and man, it's messed up. Cancer is a real big deal, and Stuart Scott, like I said, he was my favorite SportsCenter anchor. I love his versatility, his unique way of delivering content on SportsCenter, or when he was doing interviews for the NBA Finals or Monday Night Football. And I learned a lot from Stuart Scott, just observing his work over the years. Stuart Scott is an inspiration for me for being in sports broadcasting and broadcasting in general. And he got to live his life. I feel horrible for his kids, the fact that he died so young. And it's really unfortunate. So I want to send my condolences out to the Stuart Scott family, and Godspeed, man. We'll move on forward here. Like I said, there were some really good matches on the show. It was nice seeing Suzuki-gun. It's a team of Davey Boy Smith Jr., Shelton Benjamin, Lance Archer, Takashi Iizuka. Also, Takamichi Nuku was with them. I thought that was a great match. They took on TMKD, Naomichi Marufuji, there you go, and Toru Yano. Very good 8-man tag team match. TMKD and the other two guys won that match. Very, very good match. It's very good to be a constant theme here because there were so many good matches. If you guys catch the show or you guys didn't see the show, I really recommend you guys to watch the show. If you're a wrestling fan and just want to watch it for pure wrestling, in-ring, and in-ring storytelling, this is the show for you. I really do recommend it. If you have the time, watch it. If you're a real fan of New Japan, order the pay-per-view. Watch it for what it is. Next match, we had a match with Minoru Suzuki versus Kazushi Sakuraba, which was kind of their MMA style match where the only way to win was by knockout or submission. Very, very good physical match. Very good in-ring psychology. Man, Suzuki is a freaking beast, man. I ain't gonna lie. For a guy his age, and also deal with all those kicks that Sakuraba was kicking at him. He was like, "Come on, bro, try to break my arm, try to break my arm," and nothing ever happened. And then Suzuki found a way to win the match by submission with a rear naked choke. Very, very good match. Next match, we had the Never Openweight Championship match with Tomohiro Ishii versus Toki Makabe. Once again, another good match. I don't work for Global Force Wrestling, but I had the rundown for the show dead on perfect. There was 12 matches if you counted the New Japan Battle Royal match that started before the show. By the way, Yuki Nagata won the match. And also there was appearance by the great Kabuki. Yeah, that guy, the great Kabuki, was on the WrestleKingdom 9 show. So this next match here was the, like I said, the Never Openweight Championship match. Makabe's a beast, man. I don't know what's up with these Japan wrestlers, but they must love trying to give themselves concussions, either to their opponents or to themselves, man. There's a lot of good, hard-hitting pro wrestling action in this match. Just basically in the whole card, I thought everybody was trying to outdo themselves. I think that's always a good thing when you're watching a wrestling show of any kind. And it was kind of cool. Like, you watch these hard physical matches and you see a guy like Matt Striker, who's a big fan of wrestling, and he kind of marks out for these type of characters and wrestlers. It's really cool to see. I thought the New Japan environment with the fans was cool. The stage, the presentation, the production level of it was really top notch from top to bottom. We'll move on to the next match here. It was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Isuki Taguchi, the champion, took on Kenny Omega from the Bullet Club. Another good match. Omega, a lot of back and forth action. We saw Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks from the Bullet Club, come out and try to interfere in the match. Kind of cool seeing the fact she come out and interfere during a title match. We had a new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in Kenny Omega. I thought it was a very good match. There was a couple of title changes that happened throughout the show, and there was some title retains. Like this match here, we had the IWGP Tag Team Championship. So we have like a B-level title. So that's where you get like the junior tag team, so to speak. So you had like the junior heavyweight. And then the A level would be the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match, which you saw in the main event. We had the Bullet Club members of Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows against Miyu Ting. Very good match. Miyu Ting won the match after Gallows sent Gallows with the Gallows pole, but he got tossed off the turnbuckles. Goto and Shibata with a fireman's carry kick and a PK for a win. Very good match. I recommend that match. It wasn't the whole high spot or really fast-paced wrestling action, but I thought there was really good storytelling in that match as well. Not all matches have to be full speed, head-on, 100 miles per hour. If you have some good in-ring storytelling, I think it works for everybody, to be honest with you. Next match was one of my favorite matches of the show. Was AJ Styles against Tetsuya Naito. There you go. Trying to pronounce his names like JR was trying to do it last night. AJ Styles is the man. I'm kind of disappointed by TNA that they didn't retain the services of AJ Styles. He's just one of those once-in-a-lifetime performers that you see. He's very, very good at what he does. And that old saying, gets better with age, is really true. I mean, the guy could be 40 or 45 or whatever and join the WWE, and he could be as good as like a Dolph Ziggler or Seth Rollins or Cesaro right now. That guy is phenomenal, pardon the pun, but AJ Styles is a freaking man. He's awesome. I thought Naito did a really good job too. There's a lot of good Japanese wrestlers that I see perform for the first time. Like I see like a lot of New Japan shows on YouTube that I can catch up with, but they were like for a couple years ago. There's a lot of great talent out there in Japan, and the New Japan promotion really prides themselves in the really good in-ring style of wrestling, and I thought that was really good from top to bottom. We'll talk more in depth about the New Japan show on Wednesday. We'll try to get an interview with that. More information on the Facebook page, Pro Wrestling Experience. Give it a like. We've been getting a lot of likes on Facebook, so we'd like you guys to support. I'll support you guys. So you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. All about sharing the love in pro wrestling. Support wrestling. Next match here was the semi-main event. Shizuki Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi. Man. If there was one match that I said was the perfect match from this show, besides the main event, which we'll get to in a minute, was this match. Kota Ibushi, a very young performer, continuing to develop in the right fashion. That guy is freaking awesome. And also Nakamura. JR was describing him as Freddie Mercury mixed with Michael Jackson that turns into a badass. That was like the storytelling aspect of Nakamura. Nakamura's freaking awesome, man. Yeah, he's eccentric. He has a unique look to him, but that guy is fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, he's the man. Any of these guys that were on the show last night, even the guys from the States like Shelton Benjamin or any of the members of the Bullet Club, any of these guys from New Japan Pro Wrestling could be a success in the States. I don't think wrestling should be dictated on what your looks are or whatever your outfit is. But I love this match between Nakamura and Ibushi. Nakamura retained the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Very, very good match. This was probably my favorite match of the show. I was kind of drained out because, it's a 4-hour pay-per-view, 5 a.m. in the morning. I love the main event. We'll get to that in a minute, but this match was fucking awesome. I tried to mark out at 2 a.m. My bad. What was it, 4 a.m.? No, 3 a.m. in the morning for a 35-minute match was insane. And then, of course, we had the main event here, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada. And, when you're a wrestling fan where you just sit back and you just let it play out. I think a lot of the problems with wrestling today from us as fans that we just sit through the show and don't really give it a chance. We try to figure out what the finish is going to be or what the angle is going to be or if this guy's going to be buried at. We don't let the match play out. And I really didn't care who won this match. I think it's something great when you have a feud where you don't care who wins. You just want to see what happens in the ring. And especially have like a rivalry with Tanahashi and Okada. Those are just the type of matches that you just want to see what happens. And you want to be there to watch it for what it is. And phenomenal match. I have no other words to put it. It was freaking awesome. Okada is really good. He has a really bright future for him, even though he did lose this match. But for Tanahashi to be almost 40 years old and doing frog slashes for the turnbuckle over the gate, I have no words for it. I mean, I really had a mind-blowing experience last night watching this show. Just experiencing how athletic and how good these Japanese wrestlers are. They're very, very good. Obviously, when it comes to the States, you're going to have people who dictate who should be on the top of the main shows or whatever based on their looks or their ethnicities, or if they can't talk on the mic or they can't speak English or this or that. But I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great show from top to bottom. So, obviously, if you guys didn't get to see the show, please watch the show for what it is. Buy it if you're a real fan of New Japan, and support wrestling. Support all wrestling. You know, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I thought Matt Striker made the perfect point last night. It shouldn't matter what company you hate or dislike or you disown because WWE doesn't do what you want to do. I'm a WWE fan. I openly admit it, I'm a WWE fan. I'm not ashamed of it. And at the same time, I'm a fan of Lucha Underground. I'm a fan of Ring of Honor. I'm a fan of TNA. I'm a fan of New Japan. I love wrestling. If there's a wrestling ring, I'll watch it. And we should support wrestling as much as now as we ever did before. There's not a lot of wrestling shows on TV. It's going to be coming to that this year. Wrestling should be getting to a boom period now. There's a lot of great wrestling shows that are going to be out there this year for you to watch. And if you're just going to let the WWE affect the way you do wrestling as a whole, that's sad. At the same time, you should support the WWE as well because they have a lot of great young talent down there, and you should support WWE. I support WWE all the time. I watch all their shows. I watch Superstars. I watch Main Event. I watch NXT. I watch everything. I want WWE to succeed. I'm a fan of WWE. I like what they do. I don't bitch about them 24/7 like everybody else does. I want all wrestling companies to succeed. And last night shows the perfect moment telling for me that this year is going to be an awesome year for pro wrestling from all facets of the world. From Japan, from Mexico, from Canada, from the UK, even now in South Africa or Australia or whatever wrestling there is. This could be a great year for professional wrestling as a whole. Now, let's get to the meat of this show. We talked about Raw. We talked about WrestleKingdom 9. We kind of switch hands. I'm going to not talk about SmackDown in this video. I'll talk about it on the show this Wednesday. By the way, if you guys ever want to tune into the Pro Wrestling Experience run for 3 hours, every Wednesday is 10 to 1 on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com. Kind of different pace, you know, because I'm kind of separated with the commercial breaks and we got different formats. So it's been a while since I've done the show on YouTube. I did it last week, so I'm trying to get used to the pace when we don't have shows live on air, and I'm doing it on here. This was our old platform. I mean, before we came on radio last July, actually in July of 2013, the Pro Wrestling Series was here on YouTube. We did a bunch of shows. I even screen shared some videos that almost got me kicked off of YouTube. And we tried to do everything but the kitchen sink. And I thought it was really cool what we did as the Pro Wrestling Series here on YouTube. We have 34 subscribers right now. I'd like to have that increase. If you guys like what you're listening to, hit the like channel. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'll subscribe to your channel. And I love talking wrestling. It's always fun when you see good shows and you have a good feeling about it. It puts you in a good spirit because in wrestling, there's too much negativity. It really is. And speaking of negativity, it comes into time for me to talk about my Royal Rumble thoughts. So obviously everybody knows that the Royal Rumble is going to be live on the WWE Network on Sunday, January 25th. And to be honest with you, I'm scared. I'm scared for these guys because I don't think the Royal Rumble should have happened in Philadelphia. I was really pissed off when I found out that it was in Philadelphia. No offense to the Philadelphia crowd. They're great crowds. ECW, I get it. But after you saw what happened last year in Pittsburgh, so you're just going to go 45 minutes down the road to Philadelphia to get the same treatment that you got last year. You're just calling for your fans to lead a last shout at you. I hear it every day. Oh, Roman Reigns is not worthy of winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. He shouldn't win the Rumble. Oh, he's being shoved down our throat. You can't talk. You can't do this. You can't do that. But honestly, who can? On the current roster right now, you have John Cena, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and Big Show. 4 guys that have main evented and Miz. 5 guys that main evented a WrestleMania in the past 10 or 12 years. Those 5, John Cena, Randy Orton, Big Show, Daniel Bryan, and The Miz. Those 5 guys have been in main events of WrestleMania. Nobody else haven't even got a shot yet. And honestly, I don't know who deserves that shot. Does Seth Rollins deserve the shot, even though he already has the Money in the Bank briefcase? Does Dean Ambrose have the shot because everybody wants to compare him to Stone Cold Steve Austin, even though Dean Ambrose is a totally different character from Stone Cold Steve Austin? Does Roman Reigns deserve it? Does Bray Wyatt deserve it? Does Cesaro deserve it? Does Dolph Ziggler deserve it? Does any of these talents deserve it? I don't know. But the good thing about wrestling, and especially right now for WWE, they're trying to give people chances. Who knows if John Cena is going to beat Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, which I do think is going to happen. There's no way you have a guy in Brock Lesnar leave WWE to UFC the next day, and you have him in the main event of WrestleMania. I just think that's dumb, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm hearing a lot of reports about and by the way, I'm really happy that Daniel Bryan is back and he's ready to compete and he's back in the WWE. I'm a fan of Daniel Bryan. I'm a big supporter of Daniel Bryan. He's a really cool guy and he's a great guy to look up to and a guy with a great story. But last year's Royal Rumble really pissed me off. Not from what the WWE did, but what us as fans did. The Royal Rumble last year showcased the ignorance in the wrestling fan base. Batista, who came back, won the Royal Rumble, and when you look at WWE for the last 10 years, you have the Evolution stable, you have John Cena, you have Edge. Those guys that represent the PG era or the Ruthless Aggression era, or whatever you want to call it. I thought Batista and Randy Orton should have had a WrestleMania match one-on-one. It makes sense. You had the 2 proteges from Evolution going after one and another. And I thought that match should have happened for a singles match. I didn't have a problem with that match because it made sense. You have 2 guys that represent the last 10 years of professional wrestling in WWE fighting at WrestleMania 30. It made sense to me. No offense to Daniel Bryan. I know he was the hottest star at the time. And I know all the fans want him to be in the title match after he was screwed out from the Authority at that SummerSlam. But he lost to Bray Wyatt starting off the show. I don't know how Bray Wyatt gets any favors from this if he beats Daniel Bryan and then out of nowhere, 2 hours later, Daniel Bryan miraculously is all healed up, ready to go. He wins the Royal Rumble match, and we're supposed to forget about Bray Wyatt. And then the next second, you're gonna say, Bray Wyatt's not being built up. Why WWE doesn't build stars? Tell me how that makes any sense. I know Bray Wyatt came out and attacked John Cena and he moved in a different direction because they were gonna fight at WrestleMania. I get that. But these guys are just in a personal feud. We're supposed to forget about it because Bray Wyatt wasn't in the Royal Rumble match. Neither of the guys should have been in the Royal Rumble match. And I felt bad for Rey Mysterio. I felt bad for every guy that was in that Rumble match. There was no reason why that should have happened last year. Do I think it was the right choice for Batista to be the guy to win the Rumble? I don't know. I wanted to see CM Punk win the match. I wanted Punk to win the Rumble last year. I didn't get what I wanted because I thought we had the perfect setup for the perfect feud for WrestleMania 30. You have the perfect anti-authority figure for this generation in CM Punk getting a title match against the main guy that he hates most in the wrestling business, Triple H. I thought that was the perfect feud for this generation and for WrestleMania 30. And we didn't get that match. Punk left. I thought that was the perfect main event for WrestleMania. It was him against Triple H. It was either him or Daniel Bryan that should have took Triple H out at WrestleMania 30. And at the same time, I knew Punk wasn't going to win because he was doing that feud with Kane. In some way or some fashion, the Authority was going to screw CM Punk out of the Royal Rumble. And it's unfortunate that Punk's not here anymore. But last year's Rumble was really sad for me as a wrestling fan, to be honest with you. Now heading towards this year, and now people are expecting the same thing to happen because not only do we have John Cena in the title match again at the Royal Rumble. Now, mind you, John Cena lost to Randy Orton last year at the Rumble. He takes on Brock Lesnar this year. Is somebody going to come out and interfere and cost John Cena the WWE title? We'll have to see. I think there's a legitimate chance that John Cena beats Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Do I want it to happen? No. But I wouldn't be surprised that it happened. I think it'd be really a big moment for John to win that match, be the 16-time champion heading it towards WrestleMania, and he takes on the guy who I think should win the Rumble, but I know is not going to win the Rumble. And that's Daniel Bryan. I'm not sold that Daniel Bryan's going to win the Rumble this year, even though I want him to win because I want to see John Cena against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, as opposed to Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar because I'm realistic. And I don't want Bryan to be out for the rest of the year because he took such a beating for Brock Lesnar during a WrestleMania match. I'd rather see John Cena versus Daniel Bryan than Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. But it seems dead written in our face, Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble. And I don't know how I feel about that. Because at the same time, everybody says he doesn't deserve it. Honestly, who does? And that's the problem I'm having right now. Say what you want about Roman Reigns. I think he's a cool guy. I think he gets too much shit for the wrong reasons. Just because they came off that same Punk podcast and they're talking about, oh, make sure you make Roman look strong. Make sure you make Roman look strong. That whole thing ruined his whole career, to be honest with you. As much as the CM Punk comments with Ryback, with him being Ryroids or this or that, or steroid guy, once again, those comments, slander cost both those guys the respect for the wrestling fan base, for the hardcore fan base, or whatever you want to call it. But as we're closing up here, and I thank you for joining me, I'm really split 50-50 between who should win the Royal Rumble match. Should it be Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan or somebody else? And that's the question I'm going to leave this to you as we close up the show. I'll have you call into the show this Wednesday on the radio for the Pro Wrestling Experience. Who should win the Rumble match, Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns, and explain why. I'll take all your phone calls this Wednesday. That's it for this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Experience. I'm Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez CSR. You can follow the show's page at PWEShow. We're on Facebook. Give us a like, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Experience. We're also on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com's podcast section. Let's go there, go to the page, select podcasts, select Pro Wrestling Experience. It'll be right there. You can find all our information right there. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to chime in. Send me a tweet at Josh Lopez CSR. Make sure to check out my great articles at BetweenTheWorlds.com. And also, if you guys own an independent wrestling company or have a wrestling show or a wrestling t-shirt store or whatever, and you need publicity, send me an email at joshlopezbookings@gmail.com, and I like to hear from you, and I like to give you advertisement. So, coming up this Wednesday, Nigel McGuinness, the ROH matchmaker, and also founder of LA Fights, will be on the Pro Wrestling Experience this Wednesday. For everybody, for the Pro Wrestling Experience, we'll talk to you this Wednesday on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. I'm Josh Lopez. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it.